What is up, guys? Welcome back to Lumsden Motorsports Garage. I'm Wade Lumsden. Earlier today, I did as much as I could on the tough truck. And now that it's nighttime and it's raining outside, I am going to be working on the modified since I'm running out of time. So if you missed the tough truck video, go check that out, and go check that series out if that's not something you're watching. But with that being said, let's get to work. All right, check it out. I got the tire off. I really pulled all this off because I want to do a spring change. I'm going to put a softer spring in here, and I'm going to show you guys how I use my load stick here to do a spring change. But in process of pulling that off, I got in here, and look what we found. A nice pinched brake line. I never saw one do it like that before, but you know, if it's me, it's gonna happen. So I guess I am going to tear that apart. I don't have another brake line, so I need to order one, and yeah, I'll continue on with the spring change though. Alright, so we got the spring out. If you remember correctly, I used a little spring retainer on the bottom. It was kind of a pain to get it off. I'm probably gonna have to make or designate a specific Allen to this thing to be able to put it on and off. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but only a little bit of a pain. If I was in a hurry, that would suck. But other things here, my 2-inch drop cup that I'm using on this side. I have my roller bearings here that I put on that. I'm gonna clean these up before I put them in there. But something that kind of bugged me when I was unscrewing the weight jack, the dang thing came unscrewed from the weight jack instead of just going all the way up to the top and stopping. And ooh, yeah, that was a little tight and seized up there, so I'm gonna clean. This was a little tight. Now it's moving. I think you heard that pop, but I'm gonna clean this up too. Make sure that its movement is good as well. So bunch of little things to do before we put the new spring in there. I'm going with a softer spring. Idea of the softer right front spring is to get the car to roll over onto the right side a little bit more naturally and a little bit easier. Transfer onto the right going into the corner, transfer onto the right front will transfer weight over to the right rear as well, help that right rear dig in, and should in effect tighten up your car. And I'm wanting that on throttle, that more on throttle. So that's the goal, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But apparently some things got bound up and stuff over here, and got to take care of that. So after I got this apart, I wanted to get a good look at this pinched up brake line. Definitely gonna have to replace that, and gonna have to figure out how to keep that from happening again. So yeah, let me start cleaning up my parts and pieces. And in other videos, I've shown you how to, lube up that bearing and clean that bearing. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to clean up and lube up my 2-inch drop cup. Let me know if you want me to show you how I'm going to do that, but I don't think I really need to get into too much detail on that. And once I have everything cleaned up and I start getting ready to go back together, we'll go over to my new fancy schmancy load stick and show you how we can change a spring without having to completely rescale the car, right? or not 100% know where you're at. So, all right, let's have at it. All right, so now what I gotta do is get this loaded on here. Before you attach the upper, don't forget to attach your tool. Okay, so doesn't greatly matter where you zero your stick at. You can zero it off, you can zero it on, whatever you want to do, as long as it's zeroed. Mind you, I say that because I already have my load number. Now, if you want to figure out how to find your load number, I have another video on how to do that. This is just me using my load number. Remember, that's going to be specific to you, so I mean, my load number it probably won't do you any good, because you want to stay in your own notebook, right? So it's turned here. So what's important is getting zeroed, right, with no pressure. So we're going to zero the unit, right, and then I'm going to go to my load number length, which I keep written down here. So on the right front, for my for my sucked up load number, which is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use my load number for when the car is rolled over. My right front compressed, so from here, from bolt to bolt, was 14 inches. And my load number was 1850. 1,850 pounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that from here to here is 14 inches. What I'm going to use to do that is I have these fancy schmancy Wehrs center finders. I'm going to use those. The heads of these bolts to measure to and from. Alright, so all that I really care about now, I'm going to completely let the weight hang on this. Now I want to find my distance from there to there. Right now I'm at 19 inches, so I want to suck this in a lot. And as I suck this in, you can see the load numbers go up. A little bit more. Perfect. Okay, so now center to center, I am at 14 inches. Triple check. Yep, 14 inches. So, take these off. So now I want to worry about my load number here by adjusting on the weight jack here. So like I said, my load number was I believe I said 1850. So I'm going to crank on this until we are at 1850. Okay, so now you can see I'm at my number at the distance I originally measured my number, and I can go back to the exact same number, right? So that's how you do that. Now I can drop it if I want to. I can drop this to whatever my extended length number was, which is the number you first get when you set your car at ride height and you've just scaled it and all that stuff, and you pull the shock out. This is all sitting on the ground, and you put your load stick in. You make sure that it's bolted in, but there's no pressure on it whatsoever, and zero it out, and then you just pick the car up and let it hang. That's your starting, right? That's your starting number with whatever spring you have. So like my extended distance was 18 3/4. 18 3/4, right? And so I can take my cool little tools here again. Just wrong one, go on the wrong side here. So I can go back to that exact distance, and now I can compare this number, which would be my my extended length number, compared to what my extended length number was when I first set the car up. This is about 100 pounds more than when I first set the car up. So when I first did it, I had a 600 pound spring in here. I set it up to where there was, it was zeroed out. It was sitting at ride height. There was no pressure on the hinds whatsoever. I picked it up and it was like 615 pounds, 620 pounds, something like that, right? So this right here would simulate at the exact same distance or at the exact same ride height that I have 100 pounds more spring in this, trying to reach the exact same spring number that I had when it was all compressed up, right? So I have a softer spring, so I obviously have to compress the spring more at the ride height spot, compress the spring more, get more pressure there, so that when I get to my 14-inch number that I have, it would be the same as what I was running before with the other spring. Let me know if that makes sense, if that doesn't make sense. Comment down below, questions, comments, concerns, any of that happy stuff. Remember, I'm fairly new to the stick too, so this is me explaining it to the best of my ability and to my understanding and how I've been using the stick when I do spring changes. Now that I have that, I can support this up again, take this all off, put my shock back on here, and this would be ready to race, minus the fact that I have other broken stuff on here that I need to take care of before I go racing. But that's the gist of spring change with the load stick. And yeah. All right, so for the spring change thing, I forgot to mention that, like, if you're at the racetrack and you've already put some turns in it and it felt good where you did that and you haven't reset your zero number from ride height, you can always figure out that number for whatever spring is in there and then adjust to that. So that is an option, but you just got to take that extra step to figure out what your zero number is all over again with whatever you got in there. So that is an option. All right, when doing some checking, found that I'm missing a motor mount bolt. It's actually spaced out as well. So I'm actually missing 2 motor mount bolts, and the one down there is loose. So definitely got to get those replaced, and definitely got to do a good nut and bolt check on this thing apparently. So it's on the list. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to go down and like and subscribe. Unfortunately, that's all we're going to have time for today. So it's going to be kind of a last minute scramble to get to the races next weekend. I'm extremely happy that it's a Saturday Sunday race, not a Friday Saturday race. So at least I'll have a little bit of time. And I got to get some parts and stuff ordered anyways, so hopefully they'll show up while I'm gone, so that I can just thrash on this thing when I'm back. So again, thanks for watching guys. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.